I'm not sure I want to do this. One of the most amazing foods or drinks on the planet is this stuff. Coffee. The big question for me is, why do you roast coffee? This is how the beans are when they're raw. They're called green beans, and my friends at Costa Coffee, my friend Gennaro, sent me a big old batch of them to play with. So I thought we'd make a little experiment. Let's make up some coffee with green beans, so raw coffee, and then some coffee with roasted beans, and try and understand what the difference is. Okay, pour a bunch of those in there, a few more, and then I'm going to whiz them into a little powder. Okay, so let's put that batch into one cafetiere. It looks like lots of pistachio nuts. Okay, let's do some roasted beans, about the same amount. When you make coffee, especially with one of these things, cafetiere, you need it to be a specific temperature. If you put boiling water in, you are going to make really bitter coffee. What you need is the optimal temperature, which is between 87 and 90 degrees centigrade. So, got some water here. Yep, that's 89 degrees. I'll pour some in this one first. So this is our raw coffee. And then some into our roasted coffee. So this is my friend Louis. You like your coffee, don't you?
Yeah, I love coffee.
Louis loves coffee. In a funny way, it does taste like green tea. It's kind of murky, slightly swampy sort of flavour. All right, so let's have a little try of the other one. A pleasant experience?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, it's nice coffee. Yeah. I prefer an espresso myself.
Yeah,
all right.
me too.
The big question is, what has happened? What I've got here is 2 raw beans, and what I'm going to do is roast them by basically burning them with a blowtorch. Okay, something magical has happened here. First of all, I don't know if you can see it from there, but the roasted bean has gained 50% in size, and that's because the water inside the raw bean has basically evaporated, turned to steam, and expanded. So when you start heating this up, the sugars and the proteins inside the bean begin this sort of cascade of reactions called the Maillard reactions. It's the same thing as when you sear a steak and you get that lovely browning and get that immense sort of steak beefy complex flavour. It's the same thing happening in here. As it starts to get brown, when it's just a little bit light brown, you'll get acidic flavours in there, but quite nice little gentle sort of sour notes from the coffee. As the roasting becomes more and more dark and the bean gets sort of almost on the verge of being black, you begin to develop the bitter compound. So simply through chemistry alone, we have transformed the bean from something really lackluster and uninteresting into something magically complex with a whole range of unbelievably complex flavours. Now, a proper roaster will do this over a whole period of time, and it takes between 90 seconds and 15 minutes to roast something to exactly perfection. But there is a really simple way of doing this that you can do at home. I was once lucky enough to go to Ethiopia, and in Ethiopia they grow their own beans and you'll make your own coffee. And this is how they do it. Take some green beans, we've got a small handful there, and then it's just a question of dry frying them. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes, so you need to keep your eye on it, and you just need to keep the pan moving. Okay, I haven't quite got the expert Costa roasting down, and you can see that it's gone all glossy. It's got that beautiful sheen to it, and that's the oils rising to the surface of the beans. So those are my roasted beans. Give them a bit of a whiz, see if they break down properly. I'm going to chuck them in my cafetiere. A little bit of water. Ah, fantastic. It's slightly bitter, because a lot of the beans that I roasted were a little bit blackened, whereas if you want to get it right, you want to keep them nice and brown. But that is absolutely delicious, especially with a teaspoonful of sugar. So that, my friends, is why you roast coffee beans. Because if you don't, they're gopping, and if you do, they're kind of magical. Thank you so much to Gennaro at Costa for sending me all that stuff. And Gennaro, one day I'll get around to sending me back the vast amount of roasted beans that you sent me by mistake. But at the moment, I'm still tickling them. Lovely to see you. Have fun.